Can pelvic floor exercises help erectile dysfunction? That's the subject of this video. Stay tuned. Hey, this is Dr. Shakib from Core Pelvic Floor Therapy right here in Irvine, Orange County. One of the questions related to pelvic floor exercises in men is the correlation between pelvic floor exercises and erectile dysfunction, and if they're going to be helpful. The answer is yes, and it depends. You have to understand there are different reasons behind erectile dysfunction. When erectile dysfunction has to do with the blood flow to the penis, when it has to do with viability of the musculature involved in erection, then pelvic floor dysfunction exists. And one of the ways to treat pelvic floor dysfunctions is through the correct type of exercises. The issue I have with pelvic floor therapy in general is that unfortunately both practitioners and patients are more they give the impression that the work has to be internal manual treatment. You don't treat a floor when the house is unstable. You cannot have floor issues without having unstable pelvis. So when we go and we look at the internal manual work as the main portion of the treatment, when in reality that should become secondary to stabilization of the pelvis, stabilization of the hips and the spine connected to the pelvis, and all of those coming together in movement, then you go and attend the floor muscles. So can it help? Yes. Do these exercises look like physical therapy exercises for the lower back, pelvis, or hips? No, these exercises need to be related to stabilizing you in movement. So that's the key, and that's where it's not getting done right. And hardly, sometimes in offices they barely cover it, but the majority of the focus is internal manual work. You don't go lay a floor when you're building a house. You build different layers, different sections of the house. Those are different processes before you get to the floor. And that's the same thing exists when you're treating pelvic floor in pelvic floor dysfunction. I also want to bring another subject to your attention, and that is that erectile dysfunction is one of the chapters of the book called Pelvic Floor Dysfunction. So just because you're attending one chapter does not mean that you're treating the dysfunction. So it's a little bit more involved than people realize, or the practitioners give the impression that there is more to it. At any rate, I thought this was worthy of doing a video. If you have any questions related to this subject or related to pelvic floor dysfunction, contact one of the methods of contact in the description box, and I'll be more than happy to talk to you about it. Subscribe to the channel, and until next time, take care.